I believe that one of the biggest barriers that some new authors have, particularly when it comes to finishing and putting their book out to the public, is that they have this desire to write a great book without actually focusing on writing a good story. And today I just wanted to chat a little bit about the difference. I don't know about you, but there was a time back when I was a teenager, I believe, that I used to think when I thought about myself writing, I wanted to write like F. Scott Fitzgerald. I wanted to write like Charles Dickens. I wanted to write like one of the classic authors. I wanted to see my name in lights. And then later, as I got older, I wanted to see my book in one of the Oprah book clubs, selections. I wanted to have that great book. And I grew up, I had children of my own, I lived all sorts of lives. And it wasn't until actually after my father died when I sat down and I actually started writing what I considered was a good story. The differences between the two, I think, has got to do with perception. When we think of great authors, those that are still remembered long after they are dead, there is that certain feeling that their work somehow made them different. And there are heaps of academics who have dissected phrases and style and the words used and things like that. And they have determined what made that particular author great. Now, it might have been because of the times, it might have been because of the subject matter, but it's all pretty much universally agreed that these people wrote books that will be remembered. And I know if you I don't know about modern schools because it's been a while since I've been there, but back in the day when I was at school and so were my children, there used to be certain texts that used to come up as recommended reading every year. My kids did Shakespeare. Does anybody even pay attention to him anymore? But think about how long ago it was that Shakespeare lived and all the wonderful words he brought into our vocabulary. And we still do know him today, or we know of him today. And there are some new authors that want to be the same. There are some new authors who have this urge. Now, the term is, I believe, to write the great American novel. But as I have an international audience, I'm just going to say a great book. They want to write the next classic. They want to be remembered after they're dead. They want to be acclaimed. They want their books in schools. They feel that that is the key to success as an author. And because they want to do that, their book never gets finished. It never gets published. Or if it does, those authors are inevitably disappointed, particularly if they don't get any sales. Now, personally, I think it's a better idea to write a good story. And I have mentioned many times on my channel about writing the book that you want to read. Can you hear that? There's a helicopter going overhead. I do apologize for that, but he's really loud. We'll just sit here for a second. I can't think what he's doing. Unfortunately, it usually pertains to accidents and things like that. If you hear a helicopter in this area, it's not like I'm close to an airfield. But anyway, totally by the by, we were talking about writing a story that you want to read. And this is the advice that I give to any new author who comes to me and says, what do I write? You think about what you read. You think about the stories you enjoy. And then you think about writing your own story in that particular genre in your own unique and individual style. And you write the book you want to read. And that is how you get the story finished. There have been times, numerous times, when I have been midway through a story and I'll sit up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and continue writing because I want to know what happens next. I will get up and I am excited. And because I don't plot my books, I'm a complete pantser. So I will get up and I'll be thinking, oh, what are my characters going to do today? You know, and I will sit down and I will write what they're doing. And I will go to bed thinking about it. And then when I'm done, and when I type the end or to be continued or whatever, I will go back and I will start at the beginning and I will read the whole story to make sure that I haven't slipped up, that I haven't gone off skew, that I have written the story I want to read. I write the book because I want to read and see what happens. But when I go back and reread it, I am rereading it as a reader. I want to know, does the story flow? Is there any sentence or anything that pulls me out of it and things like that? And I'll write the story that I enjoy reading. And then I get it edited, do the cover and everything else, and I put it out. Because I am trusting that I am not the only person in the world that wants to read that particular story, that there are other people like me who will also enjoy what I've done. My stories are very character-driven rather than plot-driven. They talk about growth in characters, which my readers seem to enjoy. And over the years, you could say that some readers stay with me because that's what I do. But I just write that way anyway. And I now consider my readers like-minded friends because they enjoy the similar themes and plots and characters as I do. And that's what writing a good story is all about. It is about writing something that you're proud of. It's about writing something that you're quietly confident that other people will enjoy. It's about writing something and putting it out there so that your friends, your reader friends can enjoy that story while you start writing the next one. Because we all know when we get to an end of a book and then we go, oh, that was so lovely. And then if we're really sweet, and we should all be doing this, we go and write a quick review to say how much we feel good coming to the end of that book. And then what do? We're immediately looking for the next one. And my readers are no exception to that. They will, they'll come up. It'll come up on my social media a couple of days after my book has gone out. And then if I've led on to suggest there's another book coming, they will say, oh, I really love this, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll say, can't wait for the next one. And that's what makes a writing career, my friends, where you write good stories and you share them with like-minded readers. And then they encourage you to keep going because, like you, they want to know what happens next. I don't know if anybody did that for Dickens or Hemingway or even Shakespeare in his time. I don't know enough about history to know about those things. But I do know that if you want to be an author and you want to put a book out and make a living from what you're writing, then don't push for the perfection of a great book, because realistically, nobody knows what that actually is. Instead, focus on writing a good story, a story you enjoy reading. And I know if that happens, then you can guarantee other people will too. What do you think, my friends? Are you somebody who is trying to write the great insert country here novel? I'm trying to be inclusive of all my international audience here. But do you feel it's important to write the one great book, or do you feel it's more conducive to a good career, particularly if you want to live off your earnings as an author, to maybe focus on writing really good stories that other people will enjoy? I'd be interested in your take on this, so please leave your comments down below. In the meantime, I make long form content on Mondays and Thursdays. I am still on my writing holiday, which is why I look a little tired and haggard, because I've been spending time in my garage. But my muse is already plaguing me about my next book, so I imagine within the next couple of days I will start writing again. This having a holiday business is not something I'm used to, but yeah, as you get a bit older, they become a little bit more necessary. But anyway, my friends, please keep writing. Please do comment, because I do want to know what you're thinking down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. And yeah, until next time, keep writing, my friends. Bye.